2020 is a crucial year. Terrible things that have been in the dark are being exposed. It's important because it's the only way to heal. But of course, it can be depressing. It's heavy. You can feel alone, anxious, frustrated, angry, or even bitter. I too felt like the weight of the whole world was on my shoulders. What helped was to look at it from another perspective. I remembered the times when dark things happened in my own life. In hindsight, those were always the most important. They compelled me to change, to go deeper, look inside and evolve spiritually. The people and situations with bad intentions that caused a lot of harm. Without them, I certainly wouldn't be where I am today, and somebody had to be them. So I find myself even having respect, for I would never wish to swap places and live in such a dark state. Mephisto, the devil character in Goethes Faust, says, Ich bin ein Teil von jener Kraft, die stets das Böse will und doch das Gute schafft. Which translates to, I am part of this force that always wants evil, yet always creates good. This is, of course, no excuse for bad, for evil behavior, and you should never endure it. I hope this is clear. Seeing that these things served a purpose in my life, I can take a higher perspective concerning the world. Evolution of humanity seems to need the never-ending back and forth of good and bad to grow. It's like a big symphony, an orchestra where low and high instruments are needed. I remember that whenever I feel hopeless and don't understand why things happen. The purpose of bad things is their badness. Seeing this helps to conquer the desperation of thinking it should not be, this cannot be. We don't have to fully understand everything or find it great, but we have to look at what is. Sometimes it seems easier to ignore, but without accepting what already is, there cannot be peace. When we look at the dark, we bring light to it. That's the way to freedom and change. It's the place we can take inspired action from. We play our part in the bigger picture by just doing what's right in front of us, whatever that is. Never think you don't matter. Even looking at it from a higher perspective is a powerful transformation. Being at peace is a powerful contribution. 2020 is a year of change, and you are part of it. Don't ignore, accept. Don't infect, act. Another way change is prevented is by getting infected, so to say. Facing the dark, we can easily drown in sorrow, frustration, or anger. Feeling hopeless, desperate, and low, unable to move or do anything. That's why it's also important to choose your consumption wisely. News, social media, time spent with these heavy things, you're allowed to limit it. It's only one side of the coin, after all. Nobody can see the whole picture. Yes, there's chaos. Accept the chaos, nature is also chaos, and nature is still beautiful. If nothing else helps, let your heart break, as the spiritual teacher Gangaji says. Let the horror of what's happening be fully felt, but see that you're still there. Your invisible consciousness is still untouched and whole. We can be deeply broken and whole at the same time. We can be both hopeless and at peace. Especially women have been taught to suppress their anger and emotion, which then turns into helpless, trapped energy. So it's super important to express it, to fully feel the rage and let that energy finally turn into empowerment and action and movement. That would be another whole video. So let's end for now with this beautiful quote by Gangaji that sums it up. People have asked me if, after spiritual awakening, it still matters that there's global suffering, hatred, and continuing violence in the world. Yes, it matters. It matters because it is all a reflection of our own minds. There's nothing going on in the world that is not going on in our own minds. In your willingness to see the truth of that, to experience the horror of that, and finally to see what is also forever untouched by that, you are at least one aspect of consciousness that knows itself to be free. In that living knowledge, which ignores nothing, it is possible to make yourself useful to all of life.